everyone, and welcome back. This is Mindy Eggen for Lawn Fawn, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I created this gift box with a matching card set inside. And what's really great is this can be used not only for holiday but any occasion. I'm going to start by die cutting out the gift box die 2 times from white cardstock. I'm also going to be die cutting out this little scallop piece. This is for our corners, so we need 4 of these. And then this is our belly band, so I will need to cut 2 of these, and I'm going to die cut that from gold glitter cardstock. Now for the assembly of the box, I'm going to go through and fold along all of those scored lines that the die has provided. So I'll fold all of these down, and I'm going to reinforce those with my bone folder. I'm going to do this to both pieces that we die cut from the white cardstock. After everything is scored and folded, I'm going to take one of them that'll be our lid. I'm going to put this into my paper trimmer, and we're going to trim off just a little bit of the flap. So watch my trimmer there. I'm going right up to my scored line on the edge, and then I'll go up to the other side, come down to that score line, and that's cutting off just that little bit of a flap. Then I'm going to turn this, and I'll do the same thing to the other side, just coming up to my scored line and trimming off that little flap, and then I'll repeat that same thing on the other side. So this is our lid of our box. Now after that is done, the die also provides these 2 little pieces that we are going to die cut out of the side flap of our cover. So I'm going to line that up with the edge, hold it in place with some post-it tape, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. This is to help us open our box. So once I have these both down, I'll run that through the die cut machine. And once those are die cut out, we can fold down our flaps, and we're going to start adhering our top together. So we're bringing in those 4 scallop pieces that I die cut earlier. They also have a scored line that the die had provided. So I'm going to fold all of these in, just kind of crease that fold. And then I'm going to line these up on all my corners of my cover here. So I'm going to use the tape runner, just add adhesive all over the top of that. And then I'm going to take my cover and kind of just pinch those corners together. I'm going to keep the top of my scallop piece flush with the top of my box. And then I can just push that down a little bit, and I'm actually going to push harder from the inside. So that'll be our first corner. Now I die cut mine out of white because I kind of wanted it to go more unnoticeable, but you could certainly do this out of any color cardstock or the gold glitter cardstock if you wanted it to match the belly band piece that we had die cut. So I'm going to go through and do that to the rest of the corners, just adding that tape runner to it, and then kind of pinching my corners together and doing it flush with the top. So here we have our top now all created. For the assembly of the bottom of our box, everything is scored and folded, so I'm going to take tape runner and just add it to all 4 of those tabs. Then I can just fold these in. These are going to go on the inside of the box, so meeting up those corners and just pushing that together, and that'll complete the bottom portion of our box. And I can always bring in my cover, kind of just make sure that everything fits, which it does. And these are so cute. I love these little gift boxes. Now I can work on the decorating of my cover. So I kept this fairly simple. I'm going to take a piece of paper from the Let It Shine paper pack. This is got some gold foil on it, which I think is really pretty. And I'm going to die cut out the largest piece from the large stitched 4-bar rectangle, and that's going to fit right on the front. There is a little bit of a gap, but I like the white edge that it provides, and I'm just going to attach this with a tape runner to the front of the box, and I can flip the box over and kind of just give it another push, make sure that's adhered really well. Now for my gold glitter pieces that I had die cut, it doesn't show the scored line very well. So I'm taking that die, lining it up next to one of my pieces here, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it and folding that down onto itself. And this lines up fairly well with the corners of the box. This typically can go around the box, all the way around the box for a belly band, but I'm actually going to wrap it in the inside of my cover because I wanted it to be like one of those fancy presents that you open up. So mine's not going to go all the way around the box. Now that I have those folds in there, you can see how that's going to kind of wrap around it, lining up about where I want it to go. And I'm going to tuck this into the inside. So once I have that measured and I make sure that the folds are lining up, I'm going to flip this over and just trim off any excess that's hanging in the inside. I'm going to repeat that same process for the other side. This one didn't match up as well for my folds, but it was very easy to add that additional fold and kind of correct that. So now to attach this, I'm just going to use a tape runner, adding that to the back of my gold glitter cardstock, and then folding that around the edges of my box, and the same for the other side. There's going to be that gap in the middle there, but that is where we are going to add our decoration. So I'm using the stitched poinsettia, which is a beautiful die set, and it's going to create a layered flower. So I die cut out some pieces using noble fir and cilantro cardstock, and for the flower I have chili pepper and pencil eraser, and then I also have the two centerpieces from gold glitter cardstock. The assembly of this is very easy, and I just added a dab of liquid glue to the center of the flowers and did every other color to layer those up and add in that gold glitter cardstock. So just kind of turning it slightly, and you could always curl up the corners too if you wanted to add a little bit more interest to your poinsettia. And I do have a couple extra leaves that I die cut so I can create this centerpiece on my gift box cover. Once I have the alignment where I want it to be, I'm going to add this with some liquid glue. And with the liquid glue on top of that glitter cardstock, I am holding it down a few extra seconds. I just want to make sure that that's going to stick. And same thing with the leaves on the other side. I'm just kind of holding it just a few more extra seconds to make sure that that sticks down. And for my poinsettia, I'm going to add some foam squares to the back of that to add a little bit of dimension. So once I have this all added, this will complete the front of my gift box. Now you can add a tag to this, you can add a sentiment or even some Copic colored images if you wanted, but I was going for just a real classic look, real simple. I didn't want to add a lot to it. And then I can move on to making some coordinating cards for the inside. So I die cut out pieces from the Let It Shine paper pack using the small stitched rectangle. And I created my own card bases. These are measuring 3 by 8.5, and then I scored them at 4 1/4. So it's just a real nice small note card. And I'm adding these die cut panels from the Let It Shine paper pack with a tape runner. There was one of them that I have with the cream color there and the gold foil dots, but after I was kind of putting things together, I'm going to end up switching that out. It is a really pretty paper pack, but after I die cut my flowers here, I wanted to keep with the color scheme. So this is using the same colors as before, and then I also added some flowers using mermaid cardstock and rainforest cardstock, and I think this might be like my new favorite color combination. It was just so different and it's so pretty together. So I layered those up once again with the liquid glue, and I'll do that 3 more times, doing 2 red and 2 of the green and blue, and I'm going to add these right to the center of the card. This again, I thought about adding a sentiment banner or just something small, but I really liked the look of these flowers on that pattern paper. So here is that other dot one that I brought in with the gold foil, and I just love how they all match together, the 2 different colored stripes and the 2 different color polka dot background. And then I'm adding foam squares to the back of all of the flowers and adding the green poinsettias to that green stripe and the red poinsettias to the red stripe. So since I didn't add a sentiment to the front of the card or even the box, I am going to decorate the inside of these small note cards. So I did take some Post-it tape and I'm masking off the top portion of my note card in the inside, and I'm using the Snowflakes Trio stamp set and also masking off any open area there. I'm going to take some Wild Rose ink, which matched really well with my light colored pinstripes on one of the cards, and I'm just lightly ink blending that Wild Rose on. So it'll be just kind of a subtle background for a sentiment. And now for my other cards that have the green on them, I am using mermaid ink. Then I'm going to take all of my cards and I'm going to load one of them into my Misty, and I'm going to be stamping a sentiment from the Shutter card Holiday Sayings. And these were just a perfect fit for the inside of these small cards. And I'll be able to stamp all of them at once. So once I had that sentiment lined up in there, I can just bring in the other three and stamp that in the jet black ink. So then once I have all of those stamped, I'll give you a look at all four of the covers of the small note cards that I have here. I think these are just so classy and so fun. And then they'll fit right inside my box here perfectly. And you could even add a little treat or maybe some tissue paper if you wanted to wrap them into some pretty wrapping. And then I have my cover here, so you can just gently pull the cover off to reveal those coordinating note cards. I hope you enjoyed today's gift box and coordinating cards. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.